Saint Samson, the Hospitable of Constantinople, commemorated on June 27th. Saint Samson was born in Rome, the son of wealthy but devout and virtuous parents. He received an excellent education, studying philosophy and medicine, among other subjects. From his earliest childhood, he lived an exemplary Christian life. After the death of his parents, he transformed the family estate into a clinic for the sick. Word of his healing skills spread, and so many people came to him that he had to hire a staff to care for the increasing numbers of people who sought his help. When he had an adequate staff, he donated all of his wealth to the clinic and was content to live in poverty. Luke 12:33-34. Saint Samson went to Constantinople, where he hoped to spend the rest of his life in asceticism. He found, however, that there was just as much need for his skill in Constantinople as there had been in Rome. He bought a modest home and began to treat the sick. God blessed St. Samson's work and gave him the grace of working miracles. He healed the sick not only by his medical skill, but also as one filled with the grace of God. News of St. Samson spread rapidly throughout the Queen of Cities. His piety and love for his neighbor brought him to the attention of Patriarch Menas of Constantinople, August 25th, who ordained him to the holy priesthood. When Emperor Justinian became ill and his physicians were unable to provide any relief for him, Patriarch Menas suggested that he send for Samson, who healed the emperor. Justinian offered him gold and silver to show his gratitude, but the saint refused, saying that he had already given all his wealth away. Instead, he asked Justinian to build a hospice for travelers. His life was written by Saint Simeon Metaphrastes. The historian Procopius, however, implies that Samson lived before the 6th century and that the hospice had existed before his own time. Buildings 1-14. When Samson's hospice was burnt and destroyed in 532, Justinian rebuilt it and endowed it with a generous annual income. It was intended for the destitute and those who suffered from serious illnesses, as well as those who had lost their property or their health. St. Samson reposed quietly following a brief illness in the year 530 at a ripe old age. He was buried in the church of St. Mochios, which was built by St. Constantine the Great. Many miracles of healing took place at the tomb of St. Samson. Even after his death, the saint continued to watch over his hospice. Twice he appeared to a lazy worker and chastised him for his negligence. Later, the hospice became a church, and a new building for the homeless was constructed beside it. A terrible fire once raged in Constantinople, but did not damage the church or the new building. Through the prayers of St. Samson, a heavy rain extinguished the flames. The appointed scriptural readings for his feast are from Galatians 5:23, 6:2, and from Luke 12:32-40. Through the prayers of St. Samson, may we also find the treasure which does not fail in heaven.
Ave Maria Stella